Good afternoon, friends. Respected speaker of the day, Dr. C.A. Hiral Shah, and my colleagues both here and online. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this ninth study circle meeting. As we stand at the threshold of another financial year, our focus naturally turns to the critical task of finalization of accounts, a process which demands absolute precision in both income tax and GST compliance. This year, the stakes are notably high due to the landmark changes introduced in the Finance Act of 2026. One of the most significant One of the most significant shifts which we as professionals have to navigate is the omission of Section 113(8)(b) of IGST Act with effect from 30th of March 2026, which resets the rules for such intermediary services in terms of export benefits claimed, new RCM obligations applicable, and transactions based on time of supply during the transition period. Next comes the year-end finalization, which is not only about year-end finalization and balancing books, but about alignment with the new tax realities for business entities. With advanced AI and data analytics, Income Tax Department has now been able to plug the loopholes in avoidance of tax and is able to trigger detailed scrutiny if there is a difference in turnover declared as shown in GST returns and the books. Warren Buffett once said, accounting is the language of business. I hope this meeting, under our own expert speaker, CA Hiral Shah, serves as a roadmap to ensure that our finalization is not only compliant but strategically sound for the year ahead. With this, please welcome our speaker, Hiral Shah, with a round of applause. I now request our president to come up to the podium.
Welcome to all the members who are present in the library and also online. ये डबल आवाज आ रहा है प्रवीण एको हो रहा है ये म्यूट करो ना हाँ नहीं बराबर हेलो या सो what Ajay said with regards to Warren Buffett and everything, I will not be able to comment more on that. About that, two very big words. But Hiral Bhai, I welcome Mr. Dr. Hiral Shah for the lecture because usually when March ends and the start of April, it is our tradition to have what to do with regards to account closing and everything. Now, the only thing that we thought we needed to add was this whole 13(8) amendment, which now, not amendment, I mean basically repeal. So even then, even before 13(8) came on 30th March, 31st March, when the Finance Act came, there was a lot of discussion. ये कभी से चालू होगा? Is it effective from 30th? Is it not effective from 30th? वो मतलब that's what happens, when people just go directly to the CGST provisions of the Finance Act and don't read Section 1 and 2. So that confusion was also there. And the only reason I'm talking a bit more about income tax is because हिरल भाई मेरे को income tax कुछ मालूम नहीं है, उसके लिए मैंने intermediary पे थोड़ा बोल दिया. But for all those, for accounts closing and everything with regards to income tax and GST, it is a very important topic, and I could think of no better person to elucidate upon that than Hiral Bhai. Welcome, Hiral Bhai, and I request everyone to carry a round of applause. Now, before I leave the podium and give the mic to Hiral, there is in line with this accounts closing, GST is coming out with a comprehensive course on income tax and comprehensive the entire new act, the Income Tax 2025. I think it is one of the first courses where the entire new act is going to be taken with all the topics covered, and it is starting on the 14th, right? On 16th April. 16th April, obviously the flyers and everything would be shared and they will be further shared. So I request everyone, please do enroll for the income tax beginners coaching class. And the way it is the way it is programmed, that it is good for everyone. It is not. It is for, see, because just like GST was new for everyone, the income tax is also new for everyone. There are several topics by and large which remain the same. But with regards to new sections and everything, it is good freshen up, a refresher also. And for people who are just entering into the field, students, interns, new chartered accountants, for them it is a wholly new learning experience. So I request everyone to please join in large numbers. And once again, I welcome Hiral Bhai. Thank you.
Thank you, Parth. Uh, I would now like to introduce our speaker for the day, CA Dr. Hiral Shah. He is a distinguished practice chartered accountant and a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants. He holds master's degree in commerce. He additionally holds a degree in law from Mumbai University and is specialized as by qualifying as an information systems auditor DISA from ICAI. He also he has also done a certificate course on arbitration, concurrent audit of banks, artificial intelligence, and the National Stock Exchange NCFM certificate. He has over 19 years of experience and offers consultancy and compliance services in indirect and direct taxation, including sales tax, GST, income tax audits, corporate and non-corporate clients. His social involvements include being an SEO appointed by the government of Maharashtra. He's a co-founder and director of HAS Foundation. He's a managing committee permanent invite member of GSTPAM for over a decade, and he's the ordinary treasurer of Beaumont Cooperative Society, where he stays. With this short introduction, I request him to take the podium. I now request the president to offer a memento to our speaker for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay, for the kind words. To start with, I would thank President Parth Badekam, Treasurer Jatin Chedam, Rahul Thakkar, Honorary Joint Secretary, Pranav Kapadia, Chairman of the Study Circle, LNR conveners, and everybody in GSTPM. This is basically a home ground. When Parth said ki welcome Hiral Bhai, so that was the way it has to be addressed. Baki sab theek hai, hum sab dost hai. And it is always that concept that we grow. And GSTPM has always been the first option as compared to any other option given. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is obviously there, but whatever has been taught to me with respect to GST, it has always been GSTPM. Sure. Now coming to the subject proper. One second. ये किधर है पीडीएफ पीडीएफ भी रखा है ना ये वाला है हाँ अभी स्क्रीन शेयरिंग उसका ही कर पीपीटी का पीपीटी करो के पीडीएफ पीपीटी पीपीटी दिस पहले प्रेजेंटेशन मोड करता हूँ स्क्रीन शेयर इसको हैंड कीजिए करता हूँ Okay. Now proper the subject for the day. Basically, two topics have been allotted. First being the impact of the Finance Act 2026 on intermediary services under GST, and the second being the year-end finalization of accounts with special focus to GST and income tax. So, primarily, first moving from topic one. Impact of Finance Act 2026 on intermediary services. So, it has always been a litigious point with respect to the intermediary services. So, Section 2, subsection 13, it defines the word intermediary services. What is an intermediary? It has been defined under Section 2, subsection 13 of the IGST Act 2017. Under the CGST Act, there are intermediary has not been defined. Therefore, we take the definition under the IGST Act. So, intermediary basically it means a broker, an agent, or any other person by whatever name called who arranges or facilitates the supply of goods or services or both or securities between two or more persons, but does not include a person who supplies such goods or services or both or securities on his own account. So, when we talk about the definition of intermediary per se, so it has basically three parts, three essential parts thereof, wherein intermediary is one of them. When we take the three parts, it is the who is the supplier of the main service, the recipient of the main service, and the intermediary as the third part. So when an intermediary, he facilitates, he does not take any goods or does not supply anything on his own account, he does it on the behalf of the principal. So basically the definition, it clearly says that it is on behalf of somebody else, the intermediary is working. Therefore primarily the risk, the commercial risk, पैसा कौन देगा, पैसा आएगा नहीं आएगा, everything, the quality, most of these aspects are to be dealt by the other two parties, not by the intermediary. He is facilitating. So that is not have a role of in case of any financial risk therein. Just one second. तो इसको बंद कर देना,
नहीं आवाज नहीं जाएगा सामने, ठीक है, इसका ही कुछ तो
चेक कर
साउंड माइक्रोफोन
इसका माइक्रोफोन कर देना,
सेम ऐसे रखता हूँ, सोनिक नहीं चाहिए, ओरिजिनल साउंड बराबर तो है,
ठीक सामने एको जा रहा है क्या?
हाँ इको जा रहा है, एक सेकंड सर,
जस्ट एक्सक्यूज फॉर brief moment.
अभी बात कीजिए थोड़ा.
Okay. So basically the commercial risk is not on the intermediary. It is on the main. It is absolutely not on the intermediary. It is on the main supplier. Basically, ITC, that was which came up. So when I would say the controversial provision, section 13(8), the B clause, when it contained the word intermediary in it, that was the controversial problem. That was the basic issue in the entire thing, that what should be the exact clause, how should it work around? So the basic problem that came up was, say for example, an Indian company, it was earning a USD 10,000 commission from the US client for facilitating purchases of Indian goods. So what used to happen is, because of the clause B under section 13 subsection 8, it was that it had to be taxable in India, because the supplier of service, as per the place of supply rules, the supplier of service is in India, therefore it had to be taxed in India. Therefore 18% was charged therein. Because of that, what used to happen is, the entire thing of the 18% was becoming a cost burden to the intermediary who was located in India. The commission agent who was in India, he was bearing the brunt. So reverse working had to be done. The 18% goes to the government, but it was hitting the pockets of the intermediary in India. So that was creating a bit of disparity with respect to the services which were provided by the Indian to for a export item. Basically, it could be considered as an export of service, but because of this clause, the things were becoming incompetent. The Indian agent was becoming incompetent in the entire thing. Other thing, what used to happen is, to do away with such a thing, what people, the major players, the bigger players, a simple option which was available to them was, chalo bhai apna बोरिया बिस्तरा इंडिया से पैक करो. Though you are sitting in India, but the company was shown as, say, created in a company was created in Dubai, work being done in Dubai, US person was told कि भाई जो कमीशन देना है ना, वो मेरी दुबई की कंपनी में दे देना. So because of such a thing, what used to happen is, valuable foreign exchange which India could have earned, that was going waste. And such things were happening rampantly. Everybody creating offshore entities. क्या करना है, कुछ नहीं करना है. Then you had the department used to catch hold of people. FEMA, this, that. They used to catch hold of people. Ki you are working from India, so it will be India. So again, just technically, how they used to catch hold of people. See, your invoices, they contain this IP address, which is an Indian IP address. So simple, you were in India, and therefore this will be considered as in India. Indians, basically, we have this phenomenon. वर्चुअल प्राइवेट VPN से दुबई का ही IP एड्रेस आता था. इंडिया में बैठे हैं, मुंबई में ही बैठे हैं, वो IP एड्रेस दिखाएगा कि दुबई का है. दुबई से काम हो रहा है, इंडिया से कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. So in the entire bargain, what was happening is, the loser was valuable foreign exchange. इनकम टैक्स भी नहीं मिलता था. जीएसटी तो जाने दो, वो तो गया ही, इनकम टैक्स भी नहीं मिलता था. So with this is a welcome amendment which has come in. It was proposed at the time of the GST Council meeting in when it is said GST 2.0. However, finally that proposal, we see the light now with the passing of the Finance Act 2026. It has become a reality, and now the clause has been removed. Therefore, the place of supply will henceforth, means with effect from 30th of March, it will not be considered as India. It will be considered as the recipient of service. Therefore, it will be considered as export of service, and all the benefits with respect to GST, especially when we are talking about section 13.8. With the removal of the B clause, now it is considered as export of service and GST is not applicable thereon. This is what we understand. Fine. This has been done. The intermediary, he doesn't have any risk. He's a pure agent, not principal. The old clause done away with, the new clause in picture. Now, it is a zero rated supply. Therefore, what used to happen in the earlier arena? The service provider, okay, if he was charging 18%, which he had to do in the invoice, but he was not eligible as an exporter. Therefore, he had never applied for LUT. So one of the aspects that we need to consider now is, in case there is any such intermediary who is showing it as export of services, apply for the LUT. Even if there is a remote chance such thing can happen, apply for LUT and keep, because it is per year. Therefore, LUT is one of the aspect that we need to consider as for the purpose for it to be considered as an export and GST not charged on it. The other way also is possible, claiming the entire refund, but LUT is a better option in case of service providers, especially according to me. It might change from person to person, from dealer to dealer. Refund of accumulated input tax credit, that is also possible, but there are ifs and buts. There are too many ifs and buts to it. What about the services, the input tax credit already availed before 30th of March 2026? So all that would be a gray area with respect to the litigations. Since this aspect of intermediaries being charged GST, the litigation has been going on for quite some time now. There were various writs filed in various high courts with respect to the different aspects, the different dates and everything. The Bombay Honorable Bombay High Court judgment in case of Dhruv Consultancy, the Mohit Minerals case, the Supreme Court matter. But all those aspects, to and fro, because going from here and there was no finality to it. Even SLPs were filed in the Supreme Court. But with this amendment, what can be said is, okay, from 30th March onwards, the definition is changing and things have changed. But at times, if we feel life is simple now onwards, henceforth it is simple. But what about till date? The litigations which have already been filed, which are going on, they will have a problem. The interpretation from the government side would come कि नहीं, ये डेट से ये चेंज किया है, इसका मतलब कि पहले का तो टैक्सेबल है ही, उसको तो टैक्सेबल रखेंगे ही. And then courts might take that stand कि henceforth चलो this has happened, so forget about the past. That has been a consistent stand in many cases which has happened till date. So probably that Pandora's box is still closed. Let it open in a few days. We'll see as the first hearing of some of the matter comes in. So basically, when if we go to the history, why was that B clause there in place? In the first place, why was it there? The government had always an apprehension that intermediaries might, under the garb of export of services, even the services which are provided within the country, they would try to show it as export of services and thereby evade the GST. Such things can always be there. Such gray areas would always be there, but that does not justify their stand also, because you have other clauses in it which very clearly state receipt in foreign exchange. Just say, okay, foreign exchange aaya hai, the providing party is out of the country, then there will always be some use and misuse of the law, which is possible. But we cannot take that as a standard principle per se. So this was all about the amendment with respect to the intermediary services that were that is there. So just a brief checklist: supplier can be supplier in India, the recipient of the services outside the country, place of supply outside India, consideration received in convertible foreign exchange, subject to exceptions, but the general rule being in convertible foreign exchange. Supplier and recipient, not merely establishments of the same person. So, as a checklist, we need to consider this also. Again, when the government says ki people might take unnecessary advantage, such advantages were actually being taken by people, and probably in the future also it might be taken. Therefore, just a brief checklist, the last point: not to evade the tax. Okay, supplier है वो उसी का कंपनी है, subsidiary in India, and commission routed through it, no GST, no, such things are not possible. Yes, sir, because it will be considered as the party is in India. It is effectively, it will be considered in India, not as an export of services. That would definitely not escape. Even though it is a separate entity, but highly related to each other. So such unnecessary taking advantage under the garb of tax planning, tax evasion would not be considered at all. Sir, see, exception at times, no, it is a matter of contract also. We need to see the exact transaction and the contract therein. If there is a specific contract for some specific purpose and everything is very well documented and provable, then it is a different story. See, in genuine cases also, even though it is 100% Indian subsidy, there are there are professional directors who are actually working for the foreign entity, and but getting the amounts in the Indian subsidiary. Such things, genuinely, then you have to deep dive into the contract, that what is the exact nature thereof. You cannot just comfortably try to just there is no contract but we are doing work this way, so that won't be allowable. Definitely it is a gray area, but the contracts, the entire nature, it has to be very neat and clean. So yes, sir.
When it is for the two establishments they are referring, can we say that it is, even if it is for the between two establishments, that the one is the Indian entity who is 100% subsidiary of the one, and entity which is situated outside India is also 100% subsidiary of the one of the main company. But there can be a situation where the contract for the across the world has been taken by particular X company, which is your subsidiary, but it is situated outside India. And if you are doing any particular work for that company, then you can correlate that yes, it is not falling under that clause. So that is the answer what Sunilji was correct.
Yeah, that is
asking. So
very valid exception.
In those type of situations, we can say that the service has been, because just merely a contract has been entered with the US entity, and US entity is the related party. But actually service has been provided to the third person who is the client of the US entity. So in that case, you can come out of this clause, even though it is falling under that, because your money will come from that entity only. So those type of cases, of course, department will object on that, but you may fight it out on that.
So it is basically as it is a matter of compliance, a proper review the contracts, review the existing contracts also, wherein till date, okay, for so many years, say for example, you are very much comfortable कि हाँ भाई charge कर रहे हैं 18%, so the contracts loosely worded with respect to the GST aspect as well, that was okay कि charge हो ही रहा है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है. But now under the revised thing, the review the contract again, classify the things very clearly, renew the LUT, which probably you were not renewing earlier कि क्या जरूरत है, कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है तो मैं क्यों LUT करूं, renew that. So and update the invoice template very clearly, this is the transaction, the entire thing. So the bank certificates with respect to receipt of the money, that has to be kept as an evidence, the contract, the correspondences earlier, and for past periods also. I would say it is, when we say it being a gray area, if you want to fight it out, no harm in fighting it also. अभी ये law आया है पर it has to be retrospective. You want to start fighting, litigating today also, might as well. Why not? So that was with respect to the intermediary services. Now I would move to the second topic. With your permission, sir. Ji Pranav bhai. Okay, yeah, good. You pointed. No, good. You pointed out. So now, when we are saying that this is the services provided are export of services, when the services are going that way, when it is the other way around, because the place of supply rules have changed, the section has changed, the B clause is out. Now, when the service, it will be when the service is provided by a foreign entity to the Indian entity, it will be considered as import of services. And when it is considered as import of services, the clause of reverse charge mechanism would also come into play, and reverse charge has to be paid. So this aspect becomes very, very important. And see, generally, intermediary services, what we considered as outward. And outward, okay, each one would feel के limited clients है, limited लोग ही हैं, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हमारे ऐसे कोई client है ही नहीं. So that becomes the mindset at times. But this aspect becomes very, very important because of the change in the definition. Now it will be the services provided by the foreign entity to the Indian entity. May it be any services which it would be covered, in terms of intermediary services, which we were excluding earlier, it will be covered now as import of services, and RCM would be applicable thereon. So that is an aspect which needs real consideration. Linking the same with the second topic as well. At the time of finalization of accounts for financial year 25-26, 2 days, 30th and 31st. 31st का invoice आया है सामने से. We have to close our books of accounts. You send your invoice. See, the foreign entity, say for example, it is the US entity. They close their books in December. But we want to close our books in March. So send the invoice. So that will create a point which has to be given a real thought. The invoice has come between the 2 days, 30 and 31st of March. RCM has to be paid thereon. If it is not done, still we are in the month of April. It can be done, or at least in the future months, but it has to be accounted for at the time of finalization as well. Yeah, two days. Two days will matter because, as I said earlier, it is not from 1st April 2026. It is applicable. The President accent. It is applicable from that date. Therefore, 30th March is the date which has to be considered. So 30th and 31st, the 2 days, all the procedures whether issuing invoice or the inward invoices for RCM purpose, both have to be considered for the 2 days. Days being very crucial. Yes, sir.
Still further, time of supply rule, 2/3 rule will also apply, section 14 will apply.
Yes, definitely, matlab that reversal. Ha, correct. So only 2 days. Yes, for those 2 days.
But what happens in such cases? What happens in such cases? Basically, say the company is an Indian agent getting foreign commission. Now, when does the commission crystallize? Same might have happened in October.
Okay.
It realized in March, say on 10th of March or in February. The working is finalized in March. So what are the terms of contract between the party? When is that? No, that
The trigger point, the point of trigger.
Income accrue and becomes due.
Correct.
Correct. That will be the point of where the time of supply happens.
Hmm.
The time when the service is
RC.
getting.
Crystallize. Correct.
Then the 2 events of the raising of invoice and receiving the payment.
Whichever is earlier. Yes. That will come into play. Yeah. So even as Pranavbhai said, so for everything now, it is not only the date of invoice or when the payments are made or when the payments are received, but it is not only those days. For goods, things are pretty simple. Okay, physical movement is happening, the invoice is prepared, the e-way bill, so those things are okay. But the services with respect to the goods, say sales commission, purchase commission, or whatever, so that exact time when the things are getting triggered have to be taken into account. Thank you, sir. So even with sorry, just recollected. So even if when the amendment is getting is being done prospectively, so it is not retrospective in nature, still the cases of say Dhruv consultancy, the honorable Bombay High Court judgment, and all those things can be taken into account for the purpose of litigation, if any. The omission of the clause, matlab we are changing this, but earlier also there are that litigation was always there. The Bombay High Court had ruled in favor of the SSC not charging GST on the intermediary services. So it is that gray area, matlab for the past litigation. This is prospective in nature. This is not retrospective in nature. Always from the time when it was in the GST Council meet till the time of the Finance Act or Finance Bill coming into picture, everybody was कि हाँ ये क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, retrospective होगा कि नहीं होगा. But now the thing is very clear that it is prospective. It is not retrospective in nature. Therefore, for the earlier portions, you can look at the judgments and the litigation thereof. But prospectively, this is the law which is there. Yes, sir.
One is that whether it was an export or whether it was an intermediary.
Correct.
That the litigation may still continue.
Ha.
Second is what I think we were discussing is that omission. So does the omission mean that this was never into effect? And it is applicable retroactively, though not mentioned retrospectively.
Correct.
It is applicable retroactively. I think that is again an area of concern.
But here it is in the amended act, they are very clear that omitted with effect from 30th March. Okay, I was under that impression that it is.
So basically this entire amendment which has come, when we see those 5 or 6 amendments in the GST Act or IGST Act.
Correct.
In other amendments, in each of the
Other amendments, the effective date has been mentioned.
Okay.
Okay. So say for regarding the tribunal thing judgment, they have mentioned it will be effective from 1st of April 2026. Regarding section 15(3), those amendments which are there regarding discount, it will be from a date to be notified after the act is enacted and then. But everything was silent about this. clause 157, the new clause 157. The earlier was 120 series something. Okay, so new clause 157. So everything was silent about it. So they have not mentioned it. That is why it has become operative from 30th of March.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the second thing is it has got omitted. It is not mentioned with what effective date. There is no reason which is given in any of the, notes on clauses or any of the memoranda in the budget.
Okay.
So I think there are other judgments which go on to tell that can this be operative retroactively?
Okay.
Retroactive and not retrospective.
Correct.
So I think Mona, you want to add something on this?
That is what we were also discussing, that that is one area. And since last two budget, if you will go through section 2, then they have also amended one of the area that previously they used to mention that many of the clauses may be notified after the amendment. That also they have now, they are not mentioning in the finance bill now. So that is also, that may also be one of the area of looking into, that it will come into effect prospectively. But there are possibilities certainly that, because it may be, we may see in the future that there is a litigation going on in the court, and court may come up with a decision that it is effective retroactively for a prior period as well. That is one thing. And on the time of supply as well, one thing what we need to think about, that once it has been deleted, can we say that it is a change in rate of tax and section 14 will apply? That is also one of the areas. See, it has been removed. Entire section has been 13(8)(b) has been removed.
Correct.
So it is very difficult to say that it is a change in rate. So that is also one thought. Under the under the earlier region, there are many decisions, but those decisions were on the zero rated supply, and all such zero. Zero rated term is under the GST. It was a nil rated.
Nil.
So there, court has taken a decision that yes, it is a change in rate.
Correct.
From
So
nil, it
proportions
is coming
apply.
to, so that is okay. But here it is not something that rate is getting changed. So that is also one need to look into, that how, whether section 14 will apply or not, because I have a doubt in my mind. Yeah, so there also you will face a difficulty in the future when department comes for the audit or it is being objected. So the bottom line, what I understand from this is that from the day one, that you have to be very cautious while taking this call. And now you have to be more cautious because it has come into effect on the 30th of the March. So those 2 days will make a crucial impact. Yes, sir.
If we not say that it is effective till 29th March, can it be not said it is effective till 29th March?
That this never existed. That this
Point.
B intermediary was never existed in the section.
Prospective effect. Now what Pranav says, that date is not specified, effective date, but it is effectively from 30th March, that again he said. So if the finance bill has become an act on 30th March by signed by the president, then till 29th there is an old position, and from 30th it is a new position.
Why was not there under the finance bill section 2? Why it was not there? That is okay. That once it is not there, it becomes effective.
Yes,
Yeah.
Joshi sir.
With regards to the out and out transactions and the overseas commission paid, what will be position for the RCM now?
Out and out paid, and matlab the
The-
payer is in India.
The dealer is in India. He is procuring from outside India and supplying outside India, and he has the commission agent in the country where he is supplying the goods, and he is paying the commission to that agent. So whether that transaction will also attract the RCM, and whether the ITC will allow on that, because that is not outward. There is no outward supply or taxable outward supply. Another export.
So in that case, it will not be triggered. RCM would also not be triggered in that.
Yes. Now,
One more area what I feel could be a good ground for the retroactive thing, that see, when we are saying that for the supply which is happening outside India, you are taxing in India. So it is a dual taxation because the fellow is also paying a tax over there in his country. So that is also one of the core area what I feel, that you can't tax a transaction which is happening outside India as such. So that is why it is a one more added ground that you can argue that it is applicable even prior to that. So to rectify that error, this amendment has been made.
because
Okay.
my this amendment is specifically saying that place of supply is the where the recipient is located.
Exactly.
See, it is here. The words, the intermediary, that one person is out. The intermediary thing, matlab, that kind of business is out. We are not talking about other things. Other things in the section remain as it is. So when this intermediary services thing is going out, therefore, let's look at that from only that perspective. Not because it is not that anything else has changed. And again, as discussed, it is not, we are saying, okay, from 30th, so we are sure that this is the change. We are not sure, absolutely unsure about the previous period, whether to claim refund, what to do. So till we get any clarity on it, if you have a client, Monarch भाई के पास जाओ, फाइल करवा लो एक. If the matter is sub judice, there are chances that it might come in your favor. If you are not doing anything, the amount is like that also paid directly from your pocket, which in most cases it used to happen because the foreign entity is not going to pay you 18% Indian GST. So that was going from your pocket. So might as well keep the matter sub judice. Tomorrow, if there is a clarification with respect to this, that this is retroactively applicable, or this never existed in the act itself, then it is definitely a fit case for a refund. So that is some area which needs to see. Huh. Correct. So crores of rupees. So, huh. And so if that is the matter, a matter is pending, then definitely you will definitely get refund. And as Pranabha rightly said, there have been so many cases that, okay, since it was pending, therefore you receive it. Matlab, the time elapses, then you cannot do anything about it. Here, even for a delay, even for condonation of delay, you can say, okay, this I came to know now because you amended it now. So that can be, grounds can be added, but it is a time when a case can be put up and let the matter be sub judice. Now coming to the point of the topic number 2, finalization of year-end accounts. So with respect to GST and income tax, in fact, apart from GST and income tax, certain aspects with respect to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, ROC, also have been taken therein. Why year-end accounts? Ideally, the aspects, many of the aspects, what is done is done. March khatam ho gaya. We are just 10 days. It is not too long. The GST returns have not been filed yet. So probably if any change, few changes, see, all changes cannot be done, but few changes which can be done, we still have some amount of time left with us. So it is, the act is not new. The GST Act is not new. Income Tax Act as on date is not new. For the next year, it will be a new act. We have been doing we have been carrying out the finalization of accounts year on year. However, the basic reason why we are revising these points, so that as a matter of discussion, if we come out with a single point also applicable in our client's case, that will be useful to each of us. So when GST reconciliation, we don't wait up to the finalization of 99C. It will be, we do it now itself. Income tax, we do not wait till the entire the income tax return filing date. We do it now itself. The LLP Act or the Companies Act, whichever is, if at all applicable, the compliances thereof also have to be seen. The MSME dues, so that that thing under income tax we will cover. So primarily, the when we start with reconciliation, or this, we can look at this from the angle that an assessment is being carried out. So we have been doing assessments, helping our clients in the assessment process with the GST department. So primary aspect which comes up, those aspects only are seen. What are the first aspect that is considered? GSTR 1 versus 3B. 1 के अंदर ज्यादा सेल दिखाया, ITC ज्यादा पास कर दिया, 3B के अंदर कम भरा है. If at all such a thing is there today, if we have a check on it, if we have a look on it, so at least the return for the month of March, which if it is not filed yet, so that can be the differential aspect can be considered and taken care over there. So GSTR 1, 3B matching, that matching always naturally most of us would be doing it. If that matching is not done, then we check it today. So total taxable turnover as per GSTR 1, which is filed for April to March, it should be reconciled with the books as well as with 3B. So basically, if we go form by form, return by return, that will itself help us to analyze ki kya kya karna hai. It is no big rocket science or something new that is coming into picture. Right? Whatever is filed in GSTR 1, okay, check it whether something is missed. Some items have been punched in as a duplicate entry also. So that aspect can be checked. Verify the B2B sales in table number 4. Verify the GST numbers of the customers. At times, it might happen these days, most of the dealers are vigilant with respect to the input tax credit which is available in their GSTR 2B. 2A 2B is verified by most of the people. So these mistakes are caught at that point of time only. फोन करे, मेरा दिख नहीं रहा है, पेमेंट नहीं करूंगा, तो he'll come running. अरे सर वो अमेंड करना है, वो कुछ गलती हो गया है, उसका दिख नहीं रहा है. So such things, because of the overall system, it is everybody is becoming vigilant, but still there is a very small section which does not still check these things and it goes unnoticed. So at least that verification, in case some mistake has been crept in, it can be double checked right away only, so that even when it is auto populated at a later point of time, the answers are very clear and it gives a clearer picture. The B2C sales, we have to ensure between the B2C large and B2B small with respect to the HSN accuracy as well, which is seen. The credit notes, we have to ensure that whichever credit notes are there, which have to be passed, a proper credit note is passed, proper credit is given. If it is not passed, as in it is not on the portal, then enter it in the portal. Many a times Still, in the traditional business hubs, the smaller dealers, um, the very small dealers, they have this habit. हाँ हाँ वो क्रेडिट नोट लिख के दे दिया, वो दे दिया उसको, पर भाई हमको तो बताओ, हमको बताएंगे उसका टैक्स जो भरना है, वॉट एवर इज द इम्प्लीकेशन, द ऑपोजिट पर्सन शुड ऑल्सो गेट द थरो क्रेडिट. Whatever is to be passed, it has to be accurate. See, the normal trend of the business community is अपना क्या फायदा हो रहा है इसमें, हमको क्यों करना है. It is not an aspect of फायदा या नुकसान. Compliance is compliance. जो करना है वो करना पड़ेगा. So that compliance is important. Therefore, these are some of the aspects that we need to educate the accountants. अरे भाई ये करके दो, ये डिफरेंसेस निकाल के दो, डीलर को पूछ के वो डिटेल्स हमको दे देना भाई. So that is one aspect that is really required. Export of goods and services, table 6a, if we see, so all the shipping bills, whether they are linked correctly, the FIRC copies in place or not, after another 6 months, when we sit for, say we are looking only from the aspect of GST, even though GSTR 9C is no more called a GST audit, but still as professionals we have a tendency that no, we will check everything at that point of time. So rather than at a later point of time, let's have it today. And if it is done today, it will definitely be helpful to a very high extent. The e-invoice compliance. Many a times it is seen that e-invoice compliances have not been done. Especially for periods when there is a change in the threshold limit, the e-invoices have to be prepared. Many a times it has been skipped. The e-invoices have not been prepared. So in those cases, we have to be extra vigilant, extra cautious, and whichever e-invoices are required to be prepared, we have to see to it that, okay, those are prepared or not. And those are auto-populated in the GSTR1. There are times, exactly I do not, as a compliance thing, I have not verified, but what I have heard from my compliance team is that at times certain e-invoices are not auto-populated in GSTR1. There are differences, very few cases, but there are differences. Few invoices are missed out. So in case such things are done, if it is a system error, fine, there is nothing that we can do about it. But if we have verified that, okay, e-invoices portal, and these days we have software tools which are available to us. Most of the things are extractable in Excel, and Excel does its job. Few commands here or there, and the entire detail is available. So that has to be checked. That has to be double checked for the e-invoice compliances. One of the aspect that many a times it has been seen that it is missed out, the e-invoices with respect to SCZ exports, deemed exports. Chalo, deemed exports and SCZ still it is there, but for exports इट इज सेड, अरे नहीं वो एक्सपोर्ट ना वो B2C हो गया, सामने वाले के पास किधर GST नंबर है, तो उसका तो एक्सपोर्ट का तो ई इनवॉइस बनाना ही नहीं है. That is the thought process. Initially, okay, there were different opinions about it, that e-invoice has to be prepared, has not to be prepared. But the law is very clear about it, that e-invoice has to be prepared even for the export invoices as well. So that has to be seen whether proper IRN number and the compliances have been done or not. Similar to GSTR 1 and your 3B, again we verify 2B versus the books. Whatever claim if we have the thing, all the claim is as per 2B only, fine. Then in that case, it has to be checked with the books that which are the items which have actually not which are not appearing in 2B. Those have to be followed up. There can be cases, cancel dealer, okay. So if it is a cancel dealer, you have claimed the ITC as per books in case, so reverse it along with interest. Otherwise, at a later point of time, more interest penalty comes into picture. When you verify 2B with the books of accounts, you might find there are a few entries in the books of accounts which are which when inquired further, you come to know that it is a genuine mistake. Opposite person has inadvertently put a wrong number, wrong GST number. It is name is put perfectly, Hiral Shah and Associates लिखा है, लेकिन GST नंबर में एक अल्फाबेट इधर उधर हो गया, एक नंबर इधर उधर हो गया. क्रेडिट तो पास ऑन होगा नहीं, नाम कुछ भी लिखो, हर इनवॉइस के ऊपर रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज लिखो, नंबर अगर जिसका है उसी को जाएगा. सो such mistakes can happen. As I said earlier, generally these days most of the dealers are vigilant. Still, if it has not happened for the 11 months till date, get the things checked, and the opposite parties can be informed to modify their GSTR1. Though we have time up to November, say October return. But why wait up to that date? If it is happening now, why not today itself? And why wait till at a later point of time? The other aspect that we need to verify is blocked credit 17.5. मोटर व्हीकल्स क्रेडिट ले लिया है, अरे वो सर वो 2B में दिख रहा था ना तो ले लिया. A common problem, a common excuse which is given to us. Motor vehicle at times goes away कि ठीक है, when the figure is big, the GST amount is also a good sum, so that is taken note of, that is not claimed. But motor car expenses, अरे सर वो ले लिया, छोटी छोटी आइटम है, किधर देखने जाएंगे. The point is, these days now everything is getting matched as per HSN code. Even at the time of assessment we would have seen वो सीधा HSN कोड का आपका 2B, आप ही का 2B उठाता है, उसके टेबल में डालता है. Because motor vehicle expenses are some expenses which are definitely claimed by most of the people. So it is very easy for him to search that this is not allowable. This is a motor car part. It cannot be used anywhere else. Whatever we have novel ideas, our dealers teach us novel ideas. अरे सर इसको है ना मैं ऐसे भी यूज कर सकता हूं. ठीक है भाई, तो यूज कर सकता है तो लिख के रख कि ऐसे यूज किया है, असेसमेंट के टाइम देख लेना, वो तू समझा देना. But at least we have to intimate them. Don't stretch your imagination too far. At times, there are actual things. One of my client, he actually bought a washing machine. Sir, plant and machinery. Okay, plant and machinery, washing machine. Fine. Well, just explain me how is this washing machine useful in your business? A dealer of SS cable ties, matlab, for wires and stuff, and solar industry and everything. Now, how is this washing machine useful to you as a industry? And to my surprise, again, we also have some notion कि matlab, like the department officers do कि businessman है ना चोर है. He actually showed me that washing machine. It was being used to do some coating. तो मैं इसका अगर पूरा प्रॉपर मशीन लेके आता हूं चाइना से तो मेरे को वो 3 लाख का पड़ता है. मैं इसको सादे वॉशिंग मशीन में यूज करता हूं, 1 ही साल चलता है वॉशिंग मशीन, खराब हो जाता है फिर, बट आई एम एबल टू यूज इट. So if such things are there, it can be documented. Yes, it is used. We cannot have that general notion कि नहीं washing machine वो घर पे ही रखा होगा उसने. No, that is not the case at times. So we also have to change our mindset at times that things can be used otherwise also, multiple uses. Food and beverages, standard excuses which are, sir, sub you hopeless excuses that we receive, but all these things, health services, club memberships, works contract for immovable property, matlab those things cannot be personal use items or office items. For certain things there is a gray area. Definitely we can, that gray area, that thing can be weeded out, but have a note thereof. Why? If certain item is used in a certain way, why is it used? How is it used? These days, most dealers have received their routine day-to-day office items also via Amazon. The Amazon invoice is there at the time of checking by the assessing officer also, or when our staff is also checking. Hey, sir, Amazon आया मतलब वो personal item हुआ. No, that is not the case. You have Amazon business also for specifically this reason only. So we have to be open-minded, but yes, at the same time, if there is a gray area, we have to tell कि क्या करना है. रिवर्स करना है तो रिवर्स कर दो, वरना कल इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी आएगा तभी मत बोलना कि इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी क्यों आया हमको. Computation of 40 to 43 reversals. If there are different items, different rates, not taxed, exempt goods, what are the common credits that we have got? So if there are exempt and taxable supplies both, so it is not only looking at the input tax credit from the एक्सपेंस साइड, सिर्फ डेबिट साइड की आइटम्स को ही नहीं देखना है, क्रेडिट साइड पे भी टैक्सेबल, टैक्स फ्री दोनों है क्या. सो प्रोपोर्शनेट रिवर्सल wherever required has to be done. If it is not done till date, again highly recommended that we do it in the March return itself, before the in the March 3B itself, so that qua the financial year it looks that it is being done in the same financial year, rather than keeping a separate reconciliation कि वो चीज next year में किया है, ये next में इस period में उसको reverse किया है. It is better if it is done in the financial year itself. The imports, matching the imports with the IceGate portal, with the import documents. See, overall, if we see, IceGate portal also these days has become pretty accurate. Pretty accurate, I would say. Not 100% accurate, but it is good enough. So, if apart from those import documents directly, even if the things from the IceGate portal are also available to us, so it is better that it is checked right away, so that at a later point of time we do not face any music. RCM point, apart from what we discussed earlier for the 2 days of import of services of the intermediary portion, there are the other RCM services which have always been there. Whether that has been taken care of or not, that is something that we need to see. Apart from the other RCM, say advocate services, the director services, import of services, sponsorship services, security services, for the scrap, metal scrap, purchased from unregistered dealers. That is an aspect that has to be verified, whether RCM is being done on that or not, whether TDS also has been done on that or not. From different aspects of GST, income tax, scrap is an area which has always been a matter of vigilance. The government has always taken care कि नहीं scrap का देखते हैं क्या है. Therefore, so we have to basically identify the RCM services, their vendors, check the invoices thoroughly, and whether self invoicing is needed, is not needed, that is to be checked. RCM liability, it has to be paid in cash, no input tax credit thereon. See, this item, RCM is to be paid in cash and not through ITC. So most of us know वो 3B नहीं करने देता है. This law, GST law, in most cases, in many cases, I wouldn't say most, but in many cases, it is a system driven law also. सर्टन चीजें वो करने ही नहीं देता है. आरसीएम का पैसा है वो आपके पास कैश से ही भरवाएगा, तो ऑटो पॉपुलेट कर लेगा. सो सर्टन थिंग्स वी कैन रिलाई अपॉन देयर सिस्टम्स ऑल्सो एंड इग्नोर कि अभी इसका स्ट्रेस लेने की जरूरत नहीं है कि इसको कैश में पे करना है. वी कैन लेट इट गो. So renting is one of the aspect, because rent being a comparative new aspect of RCM, it is still not sinking in to many people कि हाँ रेंट के ऊपर भी RCM करना है. Therefore, for whichever period वो RCM हुआ नहीं हुआ है, कौन से पीरियड का RCM है, सिंपल, अरे वो रेंट ना, हाँ at the end of the year we will do it. No. Also, there is an aspect. If you had to pay it in the month of May, you had to pay it in the month of June, it had to be paid in at that time. If it is not paid, as far as possible, pay it along with interest. Let the interest element go. But do not unnecessarily just let it go कि हाँ हाँ देख लेंगे, because these aspects, some of these aspects are clearly known to everybody. Even at the time of assessment, when the assessing officer will come, he knows rent would be paid every month and RCM aspect is not there. So this is the first question he's going to ask you. So why to fall into that aspect and do it? If it is not done, pay along with interest, keep the working and close the matter. So with all these aspects, basically we are actually ready for GSTR 99C also. If these aspects, why are we combining? Why have we kept it as GST and income tax, year-end finalization, GST and income tax both? Because it is related. पहले इनकम टैक्स के लिए बुक्स क्लोज कर लो, बाद में जीएसटी देखेंगे. No, when the year-end finalization is happening, it is all the aspects have to be seen together and it has to be taken care together only. So it is the 99C preparation is done right now only, and we need not wait for it at a later point of time. One of the major aspects which is missed still at times is the other income aspect. Same, it's a proprietorship concern. The proprietorship concern is going on well, GST is charged, everything is done. He or she is receiving some professional fees or some commission or something in the personal name, personal books. All the incomes comfortably, then what happens in the income tax return, while filing income tax return, the business income, the GST aspect, it is shown as business income, and the other aspects, the other incomes, the other smaller commissions or anything, it is shown as income from other sources, other income. GST not charged on it. This becomes a big issue. Many times, अरे नहीं वो tuition income दिखा दो, income from other sources. There is the income tax limit is 12 lakh rupees. The business profit is coming only 8 lakh rupees. हाँ वो इंटरेस्ट कुछ नहीं है, ट्यूशन इनकम दिखा दो, एम्ब्रॉयडरी इनकम दिखा दो. No. We have to, for GST registered people, we have to be all the more extra careful with the GST aspect and the income tax aspect also, that no other income has been escaped as not given under GST. So verification of other income ledger, if in the books of accounts only the business books or otherwise, it has to be checked, because GST is qua the PAN. It is the PAN based item. So if any service is provided which is taxable, then GST has to be charged thereon. Combining the aspect with the, apart from GST, the income tax aspect. The various income tax aspects have to be seen. TDS deducted or not deducted. When the verification is being done for the claim of ITC, at the same point of time, if even the TDS aspects are looked into, it would become helpful. Say for example, advocate fees. We are checking advocate fees for RCM purpose. So along with RCM, if we can have a look at it, that under the erstwhile section 194J, professional fees, 1 lakh rupees is paid. So TDS has been deducted or not. So if both the things are done hand in hand, the efforts also go less and the accuracy is all the more better. So there are the different the TDS, different aspects: salary section 192, interest paid section 194A, contractors, commission, rent, commission. Again, whether okay, GST, ITC is there or not. If not, if it is an import item, then RCM, if RCM is done, then TDS aspect also is there or not. If TDS is there or it is not there. If it is there, fine. If it is not there, why not? Okay, it is a foreign commission, therefore it was not done. Correlate it with Form 15 CACB. Because if there is a double taxation avoidance agreement with the opposite country, then probably TDS might not be deducted. But whether 15 CACB is there on record or not, whichever 15 CACB are issued under the income tax portal, one can check which 15 CACB are issued during the year, whether there is RCM on that or not. That can be checked vice versa. So both the things going hand in hand is really helpful. Renting, okay, rent deducted, RCM again. So all the items are correlated to each other in one way or the other. So that can be checked. Under the Income Tax Act, the provision for purchase of goods, on purchase of goods also there is TDS which is applicable at 0.1%. There are different clauses. But whether those that process is being done or not, how is the checking thereof done? Because these days the basic thing comes is all the portals, the income tax portal, the GST portal, everything are aligned with each other. it is as good as both have data across the board immediately. It is not that when they are asking you in the income tax return, what is the GST turnover? You give the GST number and the turnover. You feel मैं उधर जो लिखूंगा वही government को मिलता है. No. Whatever is filed in your income tax return, it is basically government wants to check whether you are saying the truth or not. They already know each and every aspect, what is there, what is not there. They are absolutely aware about everything. Now they want to check only upon you. At times, on the lighter vein, I just give an example with respect to income tax, especially. When I go from my office to my residence, it is just one building apart. Between the buildings, there is a theater, movie theater, which comes. So I say whether I inform my wife about me going to the theater with somebody or not, whether my wife knows about it or not, there is one person, Nirmala madam, who knows about it. That I am watching a movie, with whom I am watching the movie, madam knows about it. Whether my home minister knows about it or not. So the question comes up, how does income tax department know whether you are watching a movie? I will not make payment by GPay. I will pay cash. Then how does somebody know about it? The entire mechanism, how it works. These days, the movie theater, when we go, सर टिकट नहीं, प्रिंटिंग नहीं, आपको क्यूआर कोड आ गया होगा, आपका मोबाइल नंबर दीजिए, क्यूआर कोड आ गया. The moment the mobile number is put in, that mobile number is linked to your Aadhaar is linked to your PAN, everything is linked to each other. So it is known that the corner 2 seats are given to this person. It is on record, no, I cannot say that. No, these are some of the aspects. Then when we stretch that imagination further, it is in the break, in the interval, I go and I buy popcorn. Whether the popcorn is digested or not, it is known that I have taken one popcorn. Which flavor, that is also known. And it is widely circulated on the social media also. A notice was received by a person to an SSE. Please disclose how many movies, how much amount you have spent on the movie along with the popcorn. The reason was that case, out of just nature, I was just searching how it transpired. The thing was, the person was showing monthly household expenses as 75,000 rupees a month. Okay, which one would consider is good enough. But the point was, income tax department had the details that he has consumed popcorns worth rupees 1 lakh during the year. अभी 1 लाख का पॉपकॉर्न खा गया तो खाली 75,000 यानी 9 लाख का घर का खर्चा होगा. How is that possible? So the systems are linked to a different level altogether, what even we cannot imagine. To that extent it is there. Yes, sir. Sir, I am saying the family household expenses. हाँ, total family का 9 लाख का खर्चा था. So see, such things are possible. I'm not saying it is not possible. But the point is that if somebody is spending to that extent, भले friends के लिए किया, दूसरे के लिए किया, prove it. So, as far as possible, avoid such things, avoid playing with fire on the pretext कि कौन देख रहा है. Don't assume कि कौन देख रहा है, हमको थोड़ी देखेंगे. See, the other aspect for most of us, when the client comes, अरे वो मालिया पैसा लेके भाग गया. अरे मालिया की बात छोड़ो, उसका जो होना है होगा. Earlier it used to be the case that only a few cases were scrutinized. Now what we feel is, it is even less. But I would say now scrutiny is 100%. 100% cases are scrutinized. Not a single case is left. It is just that, okay, the variation is at a smaller extent. Therefore, it is going, they are ignoring it. But don't assume that nobody is looking at you. Each step is being noticed. Okay. So, the TDS, the calendar, the income tax TDS, known to us, the entire calendar, the monthly payments have to be made. Quarterly TDS returns are to be filed. The dates therein also, for what we say, after the quarter gets over, we have time up to 1 month for filing of TDS return. That is there, which is a normal thought process. But agreed, TDS return, you have 30 days. But for TCS return, you only have 15 days. Each day of delay, if you file the TDS and TCS returns together on, say, the 30th day, the penalty is triggered for 15 days of delay of TCS return at the rate of 200 rupees per day. So if any aspect is left over, even in case of TDS or TCS, whatever differences are there, file it in the current quarter. Like GST returns, though it is not allowed legally, TDS does not give any provision like your GSTR 3B. बाद के जब भी पता चला तभी file कर देना. No, it is not that way. Though practically most people do it that way. But the aspect is that the earlier period when the transaction has transpired, the TDS had to be filed in that only, so you can revise the return. Revision of TDS return is possible, TDS TCS returns, which has to be done, and not to be everything in the last quarter itself. नहीं पूरे साल का जो TDS है वो कर देंगे last में. No, it doesn't work that way. And again, when the portals are aligned with each other, you cannot substantiate your stand also कि नहीं ये वो bill change कर देंगे, March का डाल देंगे. Say Monarch Bhai has given an invoice in the month of August, payment made in the month of September. Advocate services liable for reverse charge. 1 lakh rupees invoice. 10% TDS had to be deducted in that quarter. RCM is done, but TDS is done in March. No, that is misalignment. So that has to be taken care. Advance tax, all of us know that the advance tax, income tax has to be paid during the year itself. So checking that as well. Now already March has gone, so all the more interest would be applicable. But nevertheless, if the books are finalized earlier, the tax can be paid now, not wait till the last date, so that we can avoid interest. Decision with respect to new regime, old regime, it can be taken. The decision with respect to new regime and old regime, that also can be decided now whenever the books are finalized. In most cases, even for individuals, see, there is a major difference for individuals when it comes to new regime versus the old regime. Deductions can be claimed under the old regime. Deductions are not available under the new regime. But overall, the thought process is that if we just calculate on a very rough basis, just an estimate, a ballpark rule, if we can say, if the deductions are there up to the extent of 3,75,000 rupees, then and then only old regime is beneficial. If deductions are less than 3,75,000 rupees under the old regime, then the tax is better under the new regime only. The tax is lower in under the new tax regime. Yes, the difference, if a person having business income has moved from new regime to the old regime or old regime to the new regime, because earlier the default was old regime. Now, since the last 2 years, new regime is the default. So if someone has moved from the default regime to the other regime and having business income, then the changes is only once. Changes allowed only once in a block of 5 years. However, if somebody does not have business income, then it can be changed. But it can be changed at any point of time. Every year also you can keep on changing if it is a non-business entity. But here, when we are looking at finalization of accounts, it is generally we are talking about the business entity only. So that the changes is limited. We cannot keep on changing. The major aspect since a couple of years, while finalization or while working on the 31st March rule, is the payment to MSME as we call, but though it is only for micro and micro small that it is applicable. So that rule is pretty clear that payment has to be made within 15 days if there is no written agreement. If there is a written agreement between the parties, it can be maximum 45 days. What is generally heard, generally interpreted, 45-day rule of payment to MSMEs. 45 days rule if the terms have been agreed for a period more than 45 days, then it can be maximum 45 days. But if it is a lower period, if the agreed period is 30 days, in the invoice it is mentioned payment within 30 days, then it becomes 30 days. So ideally it is not a 45-day rule, it is a 15-day rule. If no written agreement, then it is a 15-day rule. The payments have to be made to manufacturer or a service provider mandatorily. If it is a trader, then the rule is not applicable. As of now, it is not applicable because even the registration, the MSME registration is provided to a trader only for limited purposes, limited banking purposes and certain purposes only. It is the payment rule does not apply to a trader when it is a matter of traded goods. Udyam registration has to be mandated. These another aspect while finalization which is said is कि यार हमको तो पता ही नहीं है सामने वाला MSME है. Okay, these days everybody mentions it on the invoice itself, that MSME. So simple. So it is informed, it is already informed to you. There is no other written confirmation which is required from the party that they are registered under MSME. It is by default that the person is registered under MSME and their payment has to be given. The Udyam registration is there. Other aspects, so this was for the 15-day rule of payment, not 45-day rule payment. Other items of 43B, like the PF, ESIC, when we see during the year also, if there are any defaults, any delay in the payment of delay in the payment of the dues, the employer's contribution. There are two aspects. for provident fund, employer's contribution, employee's contribution. So when the amount has been taken from the employee, it has already been deducted from the salary, it has to be paid on time. If the same is not paid on time, even if it is paid before, during the year itself, or before the filing of income tax return, still it would not be calculated as it will not be a allowable expense, even though it is paid, but it is paid late, therefore not an allowable expense. The other aspect of bad debts, and अरे पैसा नहीं आने वाला है. Okay, if money is not going to come, you cannot just write it off as bad debts. There have to be documentary evidences that you have done your due diligence for recovery of this recovery of the amount. The recovery proceedings were initiated prior to the write-off. Just mentioning them as doubtful or not receivable, that is not allowed. Provisions by provision for bad debts for banks and financial institutions is a different aspect altogether. Depreciation, I will just complete in the next 2 minutes. Depreciation is an aspect which also requires some attention at the time of finalization itself, because it, in few cases, though very few cases now, but still, say an asset was bought for 10 lakh rupees plus 18% GST, so it is 11 lakh 80,000. Depreciation is claimed on the entire 11 lakh 80,000. In that case, your ITC would go for a toss. इनकम टैक्स बचाने के चक्कर में 30% बचाने के चक्कर में पूरा 100% आईटीसी का जाएगा. ITC cannot be claimed. So apart from the income tax portions, just the ROC aspects, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs guidelines, the Companies Act and the LLP Act also have to be seen, also have to be checked along with it. So this brings me to the end of the topic. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Any questions? We're really happy to answer.
I have a question from Nina Mora. How to give accounting treatment of ISD transfer?
That the ISD transfer, matlab, it has to be shown something. It is just like your aspect of transfer, something accounting entry in terms of when transfer of goods are taking place from one branch to another. On similar basis, the entry for ISD also has to be taken care of. Only for the tax component, yes, not for the transferred to so the ITC has to be transferred from one state to another. So it will be an aspect very similar to what stock transfer in that we charge. Sunil bhai? Question? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hiral, for a really enlightening lecture. There were so many aspects which I'm sure we have learned today about finalization and about intermediary services. I now call upon our chairman, CA Pranav Kapadia, for his remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. respected office bearers on the dais, convener Ajay Talreja, the speaker of the day, Hiral Shah, my friends and colleagues and seniors present in this GSTPAM library. Again, a very good evening to all of you. Well, Hiral has taken us through this complexities of, first of all, the intermediary mesh, we can say, or a mess, which has now become. Very integrating issues which have come up because of this amendment, and Hiral has very nicely, taken us all through all those issues, and these are going to be there are going to be rather bigger concerns with respect to this intermediary aspects. Although much has got clarified, but as far as the past transactions and the transition phase is concerned, yes, there are going to be certain issues which are going to be there. And a very good insight which Hiral has given us on the GST and income tax compliances, the year end and the year ahead compliances. So I really compliment Hiral for navigating us through these various complexities. Thank you very much, Hiral, for this. I think this is almost like a vote of thanks, but the formal vote of thanks would still come up. Thank you.
I request my colleague Monarch Bhag to offer a vote of thanks to our speaker today.
Good evening, friends. We all agree that it was a highly insightful session where right from the intermediary service, what would be the for the past period, what the steps to be taken, how it would be effective for the future, date of enactment. Everything was aptly covered by the today's speaker, Hiral Bhai. And on the part of the finalization of accounts, which is his specialized subject, and every year we used to have one of his session on this topic, so he's a seasoned into it, so there is no doubt that we all are benefited by this thought. And this time it was also included with respect to the income tax and TDS. So thank you so much, Hiral Bhai, that you covered up so well that it was revision for all of us. Thank you so much. And important announcement that as mentioned by our president, we request all of you to join for the income tax coaching class where we are conducting the session which is designed covering the old regime as well as new regime. So you all are requested to be a part of that. So it will also be there. We will also get a more insights about the income tax as well. So come up in a large number, which is beginning from the 15th of April. And now I request all of you to please rise for the national anthem.